Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing a Barbie toy store build in The Sims 4. Now, the only CC that I will be using is all from the same person. They're from SIMMIN My Best Life. And I really love her Barbie custom content. So I will be using some Barbie dolls from her. And I love that her dolls look so good. She has some vintage boxed Barbies that I will be using, and she's also got some fashionista Barbies in boxes that I will also be using today. Now, I do have her functional Barbies that can go in toy boxes and child Sims can actually play with, but I will not be using them for this build. Now, a store like this is like one of my childhood dreams. I've been obsessed with Barbie for a very long time, like most of my life. And I'll be taking inspiration for this build from the American Girl store in Atlanta. In the sense that this store is all about Barbie. Like, everything is Barbie. So everything is pink and glam. And I thought, why not share with you some of my favorite random Barbie facts. Like the fact that one of the guys who designed Barbie, or like helped design the original Barbie prototype, had formerly made bombs for World War II. He went from designing bombs to designing kids' toys. And the founder of Barbie, her name is Ruth, and I don't remember her last name. She named Barbie after her own daughter, Barbara. And she made Barbie because she wanted her daughter, Barbara, to be inspired to follow her dreams. Because at the time, it was the 50s, and so women didn't really have that many career options available to them. All the good, high-paying jobs were being given to men. And actually, the original Barbie prototype was kind of inspired by a doll named Lily. She is a doll from like a cartoon, and she was a prostitute. And so men would give their dates a Lily doll on the first date to show what they expected to get out of the relationship. And honestly, if I got a doll on my first date, a Lily doll, I would have kept the doll and run, because like, free doll. But yeah, that dude who gave her to me is garbage. So I would want to get far away. Maybe get in a slap before running, but then I would run. Figuratively. I wouldn't literally run. I'm not in the best shape. I'm only skinny because I have a super fast metabolism. I do not exercise, like, ever. So, Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts. She's got the same middle name as her Aunt Millicent. and her parents are George and Margaret Roberts. In the newer series, Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures, Margaret is an architect, and George is a filmmaker who makes documentaries and has an odd obsession with carving ducks out of wood. Now, Barbie's sisters are meant to represent Barbie in different stages of life. Skipper, her oldest of her little sisters, was originally a blonde but is now a brunette. I'm not sure when that happened. In my entire lifetime, Skipper has always been a brunette. And she's like the young teen. Skipper has had a bit of a controversy surrounding around her, in the form of the Growing Up Skipper doll. Back when Skipper was still a blonde, Mattel came out with the Growing Up Skipper doll. And this doll would get taller, her hips would get wider, and her boobs would get bigger when you moved her arm up and down. And obviously, parents didn't like that very much. So she was quickly taken off the shelves. But you can still find her on eBay, I think. And I was able to find her on eBay. But I did not buy her because I do not have that kind of money. I can't go around purchasing every discontinued Barbie that I find, even though I wish I could. I can't. Now, Barbie's sister Stacy is the more athletic one in recent years. And honestly, she's the one that I relate to the most. Sometimes, because my favorite quote from her is from Dreamhouse Adventures. It is when she says, "I can't find anything when it's put away." And she said that after Barbie cleaned her room. Their parents went away for a while, and Skipper and Barbie decided to switch rooms for the time being because Skipper was getting a little fed up with Stacy, and Barbie thought she could deal with it better because she didn't really understand the issue. But she quickly realized. So, every one of the Skipper's sisters ended up, swapping rooms and then re-swapping rooms. They all ended up in Barbie's room for at least one night while their parents were away. But they ended up switching back. So she's more of the preteen version of Barbie. And then, of course, there is Chelsea, who is formerly named Kelly. Now, the reason her name changed was because Kelly is the name of a doll in Europe, so they couldn't name her Kelly in both continents. So they ended up changing her name to Chelsea so that they could give her the same name no matter where they were selling her. And Barbie dolls are actually manufactured in Indonesia. So, to our final sister, which not many of you might know about, is Chrissy, Barbie's baby sister. Now, she was discontinued shortly after she was released, because she was seen as Barbie's baby and not Barbie's baby sister. And since Barbie is supposed to be like a teen or a young adult, it didn't seem appropriate, and parents got mad, as they tend to do. So she was discontinued, and I've actually seen her name spelled 2 different ways on her own packaging. I've seen it spelled with a K, and I've seen it spelled with a C. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe they're spelling it differently depending on where they're selling it, but I thought that was kind of weird. Now, you can still find Chrissy. They don't manufacture her anymore, but you can still find her on like Amazon and eBay. She will come with a Barbie. Now, like, it'll come in part of a play set, like a set. So she'll have like a Barbie and then a Chrissy and like a few accessories. What I've found so far. Now, Barbie has had a lot of controversy surrounding her, whether it be her unattainable body type or her unrealistic standards. Then, of course, there's all of the things that Mattel came out with that made parents mad. But one thing that they never mentioned is the fact that until fairly recently, like within my own lifetime, Barbie didn't even have toes. And like, I didn't even notice that while I was playing with her as a kid. And that's how I know that children don't care if her body is realistic. They're not paying attention to that. They're not paying attention to her realistic body or how unrealistic it is. They don't see her as like the ideal woman and like her having the perfect body. She's just a toy. It's really the parents that are having all these problems with her. And the original and some of the versions of Barbie after that didn't have a belly button either. Within my own lifetime, so the past 20 years, past 21 years, Barbie has gained a belly button and toes. Some of the vintage Barbies are not very poseable. Like, some of them aren't even poseable at all. And like, they're made of some kind of like heavy plastic. Like, if you've ever seen one of the original, like very first Barbie prototypes, like the first one to ever hit the shelves, the first Barbie doll. And if you've ever held her, she's actually quite heavy. She's made of some kind of heavy plastic. And the Barbies these days are made of much lighter plastic. And the head is vinyl, so it's kind of rubbery. That way they can stick the hair into it with their rooting machine or whatever. With however they do it. I'm not entirely sure how they do it. They might use a machine, or they could do it all by hand, but as someone who has rerouted a Barbie before, that takes forever. And you get some pretty bad hand cramps doing it. So I do not recommend. They probably are just using a machine. Especially when they're spitting out doll after doll daily. Like, they can't be doing it all by hand. Now, Barbie's pets have also changed quite a bit. Originally, she had a horse, and the horse's name has actually changed in my lifetime. It started out as Tawny, and now it's Misty. Now, her dog, Taffy, was originally the only dog, but now she has 3 more, and they are Taffy's siblings. In the more recent series, Taffy is a puppy, and then she has her siblings, Honey, Rookie, and DJ. They were introduced in one of the movies. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But it had puppies in the title, so it can't be hard to find. Yeah, and so that is actually, it tells us how she got Taffy and how her sisters got the other puppies. Now, she's also got a cat named Blissa, and Blissa has not changed much throughout the years. Her name has stayed Blissa. She has stayed a white cat. Now, in some Barbie movies, where she has a different name and a different occupation and everything, she will have different pets. And so I'm not counting those. I'm only counting the ones where her name is actually Barbie Roberts. And those pets have been pretty consistent. My favorite Barbie movie is Barbie and a Mermaid Tale 2. I like the sequel better than the original, although I do really like the original too, mainly because honestly, it's because of Kylie. And if you haven't seen the movie, Kylie is Barbie's surfing rival, and a talking fish talked her into stealing Barbie's or Merlia's magic necklace and turning into a mermaid. But the fact that she was dumb enough to listen to a talking fish and let it take her to the deepest trench and push her into a whirlpool is not why I like her. She is pretty quick with her character arc. And my favorite part is she's an Aussie. The fact that she becomes a mermaid temporarily, and actually she ends up keeping the necklace, spoiler alert, and so she can become a mermaid whenever she wants now. It has a lot in common with H2O, which is my favorite show of all time. So, I'm not complaining. Barbie and Kylie went from surfing rivals to the best of friends so fast. It just shows how Barbie's kind nature really influences other people. Because, like, Kylie and Maria didn't really interact much apart from when they were competing against each other. And so, honestly, the only character who has managed to stay mean to Barbie, the longest, is Raquel. And even Raquel ended up becoming her friend in one movie. It was Barbie Fairy's Secret, which is a really funny movie, mainly because of Ken. Ken is like the comic relief of that movie, and even though the movie does not need any comic relief, he still delivers. He's hilarious in that movie. I definitely recommend giving it a watch. Like, Barbie was my entire childhood, and Barbie's movies can be enjoyed by all age groups. Like, as an adult, I still thoroughly enjoy Barbie. I will watch anything that Barbie comes out with. I will download the soundtrack on my phone and learn all the songs. And then I will buy the DVD. Because even though DVDs have become obsolete with our streaming services these days, it's still kind of nostalgic for me. And so I like to collect DVDs. Now, in my Trainwreck Barbie Let's Play, which is what I will be using this build for, Barbie is not the kind of person that Mattel has made her. Obviously, Mattel pays her more money than she knows what to deal with, just to slap her face and name on things. Because that's all she seems to be doing. Skipper has gotten her own line of friends and playsets, and yet Barbie is still very much the main character. And I wanted to keep that feature. So I did. And having money has certainly made her a lot to handle. She is no longer the person she used to be. At all.